Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. The star coins have arrived. I wish you good luck. After completing the contract, Xuangyun, the messenger of the Libra Empire, did not stop at the 7 Stars building too much. After all, apart from this matter of the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce, he still has more things to do. There are nearly tens of millions of people who want to do deals with the Libra Empire every day. If it wasn't for their messengers running the business, it would be really difficult for the Libra Empire to receive so many customers. After Xuangyun left, Mei Xue also exhaled. Now, a heavy burden in her heart has fallen, but at the same time she has picked up another heavy burden. Today, the star coins she can use are enough to buy a galaxy. In the outer seas, her current wealth can definitely be regarded as the richest man. However, if you want to obtain this wealth, you have to pay a price, and you have already mortgaged the 7 Star Chamber of Commerce. If 10 years later, she cannot repay the loan, the 7 Star Chamber of Commerce and everything she owns will be reclaimed by the Libra Empire. 10 years, for the Libra Empire, it's just a snap, but for Mei Xue, every minute and every second counts. Now, what she needs to do is how to establish a branch of the 7 Star Chamber of Commerce in the inner sea. The branch's 060 selection and address she has already chosen. Just in case, she even chose several options as backup options. Everything is ready now, just go to the inland sea. Speaking of which, Mei Xue also looked at Su Yan on the side. The moment she saw Su Yan, Mei Xue suddenly felt her eyes light up. He was just worried about how to safely transport his large troops to the designated location in the inland sea, thus establishing a branch of the 7 Seas Chamber of Commerce. Now, isn't the person in front of you a very suitable candidate? Su Yan can be trusted, and he can definitely be responsible for escorting the club's supplies. In addition, Su Yan's strength, she is also very clear. Even natural disaster-level existences like Zerg and Iron Man have been shriveled in Su Yan's hands. Powerful and reliable enough, isn't he the perfect candidate for his club's material escort team? Thinking of this, Mei Xue also looked at Su Yan. Su Yan, I have a list here, are you interested? As long as you help me with this, I can let you choose a few treasures worth around 100 billion in the 7 Star Chamber of Commerce. Mei Xue also looked at Su Yan. It would be even better if Su Yan joined the mercenary group of gods and ghosts. At that time, if you only need to hire some more guards, it should be foolproof. Unexpectedly, at this time, Su Yan opened his mouth and said, I'm sorry for rejecting it. Hearing this sentence, Mei Xue felt a chill in her heart. She thought that the price was rich enough. Couldn't the items worth 100 billion still impress Su Yan? Even if it is a ship, he can take down a commodity worth 100 billion, but he is not moved. This is a lucrative errand. I plan to enter the inland sea tomorrow, you should go to Yihuang for this kind of errand. To be honest, Su Yan already felt that she had been in Topaz Star long enough. Now that the warp storm has ceased, the upgrade of the Hyperion is complete. Next, Su Yan can't wait to enter the inner sea. The coordinates of the Garden of Eden that the system rewarded to him, what exactly is this Garden of Eden can only be figured out when you arrive at the inner sea. Are you leaving tomorrow? Exactly, our fleet is also heading to the inland sea tomorrow. Moreover, our fleet has an excellent navigator who can clearly feel the changes in space-ocean currents and help us avoid a lot of potential dangers. My fleet needs a reliable escort, can you help me this time? In order to ensure the safe establishment of the branch for her, Mei Xue also made a lot of money. After all, it's really hard to find a reliable and powerful guard like Su Yan. Strong guards are expensive to hire, but Mei Xue cannot guarantee their safety. This is a drawback of the 7 Star Chamber of Commerce, which does not have its own reliable and powerful private fleet. Most of the fleets owned by the 7 Star Chamber of Commerce are fleets of cargo ships, and the regular and powerful fleets are not very powerful. In normal times, if anyone dares to loot the cargo ship of the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce, Mei Xue directly offered a bounty with a large amount of star coins. Once the reward was placed, a large number of bounty hunters would go to intercept those thieves for the star coins. Over time, after those interstellar pirates saw the cargo ship of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce, they also gave up decisively. After all, once they looted the cargo ships of the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce, they would be rewarded. The time to accept is the endless pursuit and killing. But now, the 7-Star Chamber of Commerce wants to establish a branch in the Inner Sea. In the Inner Sea, the interstellar pirates can be called locusts, the pirate group composed of various star sea races. No grass grows wherever they pass. They don't care who you are. After the big deal is over, you can easily escape by directly riding the space-ocean current. Therefore, in the inland sea, the armed strength of the fleet also needs to be established. In this way, Mei Xue also discovered that she still has a lot to do. Hearing Mei Xue say that there is a navigator in their fleet, Su Yan also thought about it. After all, space-ocean currents span tens of thousands of galaxies, and it is difficult to guarantee that there will be no danger in the ocean currents. A navigator can detect threats in the ocean currents in space, and having a qualified navigator can save a lot of trouble. Moreover, the fleet of the 7-Star Chamber of Commerce will also set sail tomorrow, and he can just follow the 7-Star Chamber of Commerce into the Inner Sea. Thinking of this, Su Yan also changed his mind. In this case, I will help your 7-Star Chamber of Commerce to escort you again tomorrow. Hearing Su Yan's agreement, Mei Xue also felt relieved. Later, Mei Xue also said to Su Yan, if possible, can you call the mercenary group of gods and ghosts? Of course, you two are paid the same. Mei Xue also knew very well that Su Yan had a very close relationship with Yi Huang, the head of the God-Ghost Mercenary Corps. If Su Yan speaks, it must be more convincing than her, the president of the 7-Star Chamber of Commerce. When Su Yan heard this, he nodded. I'll let him know. At this time, Yi Huang also returned to his Sun Moon Star. At this moment, on the Sun Moon Star, many mercenary members were also wiping their weapons. When Yi Huang returned to the ship, many mercenary members also gathered. Boss, when are we going back to the Inner Sea? Participating in this bird auction these days, my bones are about to fall apart. Ha ha ha, we are just rough people, only fighting is suitable for us. 35. I have to say, the boss took us to vote last time, and now the brothers don't worry about food and drink. 35. Several mercenaries also laughed, although they did not receive any orders during this time. But just some time ago, those rare plants picked in the underground cave were enough for them to eat for a while. Yi Huang glanced at his brothers. To tell the truth, if it wasn't for the influence of the warp storm, he would probably have returned to his territorial planet by now. Now that the auction has ended, the warp storm has stopped. In fact, he has returned to the Inner Sea. After all, the resource planets he has obtained are still waiting to be harvested. Just when Yi Huang was about to leave Huang Yuxing, his technological wrist also lit up. Huh? Su Yan's video communication? Yi Huang also directly connected to the video communication, and Su Yan also appeared on the opposite side. Looking at this fellow who is also a blue star human like him, Yi Huang was also full of emotion. If it wasn't for Su Yan's care during this time, he would have died a long time ago. Brother Su Yan, I'm planning to return to the inland sea. What's the matter with your sudden call? Are you going to put it back into the Inner Sea? Hearing Yi Huang's words, Su Yan didn't expect him to be even more anxious than himself. I have a job here, do you want to think about it? What kind of work? I'm planning to go back and harvest my few resource planets now, and ordinary work can't impress me. Yi Huang now also holds several resource planets, so he is naturally extremely arrogant. After all, in the inland sea, resources are money. Su Yan looked at Yi Huang's complacent appearance, and also smiled. Reward 100 billion, escort the cargo ship of the 7-Star Chamber of Commerce to the designated position. Do you do it? Why not earn money? Take it. Yi Huang resolutely agreed. This is a reward of 100 billion. Sure enough, after following Su Yan, I never worry about money anymore. Yi Huang secretly said in his heart, it really is very important to people, During this period of time, the rewards that I have received are more than what I have combined in the past. 2.6 Soon, it was the second day. The 7-star Chamber of Commerce directly contracted the entire starport of Huanyuxing. In the starport, there are many cargo ships of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce, and the surrounding star sea races can't help but gasp when they look at the huge fleet in front of them. So many cargo ships, what is the value of the goods inside? I heard that the 7-star Chamber of Commerce is planning to open a branch in the inland sea, and these cargo ships are all preparing for the establishment of a branch. Hey, with such a fat fleet, won't those interstellar pirates run over like crazy? Look at those two people, one is the captain of the Longing Fleet, Su Yan, and the other is the captain of the Ghost Mercenary Group, Yi Huang. These two people together are equivalent to 2 inner sea Tianhuang-class fleet guards. Which interstellar pirate does not have long eyes and dares to come and die? Above the port, Mei Shui directed many workers to load the cargo onto the cargo ship. Su Yan sits in the Hyperion, and also remotely controls the Spear of Aden. At this moment, the Spear of Aden is still parked on the satellite orbit of Topaz Star, and its huge size has attracted the attention of many star sea races. At this moment, Mei Shui also suddenly sent a communication signal to Su Yan. Su Yan entered the communication channel, and as the commander of this huge fleet, Mei Shui also announced, "Set sail." With an order, the roar of the engine resounded through the sky. Hundreds of ships took off at the same time, and the airwaves at the time of takeoff also set off a storm in Shingon. The crowd watching next to Shingon also exclaimed. In their field of vision, the 7-star combined fleet also rose into the sky. The 7-star combined fleet, with the cargo team of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce as the core, and the Longing Fleet and the God Ghost Mercenary Fleet as the escorts. In addition, there are several guards. Out of the 200 cargo ships of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce, the rest are frigates hired by the 7-star Chamber of Commerce. Its scale is huge, and it is very rare in the open sea. The mighty 7-star combined fleet also gradually lifted off into outer space. Who knows, when they came to outer space, the first thing they saw was not the vast sea of stars. In front of them is a huge ship with a body of dozens of kilometers. The moment they saw this ship, everyone couldn't help but take a deep breath. SS-class ships? How come there are SS-class ships here? Could it be that the Emperor's son of the ancient empire came to the outer sea? How is it possible? Those emperors only move in the inner sea, how can they come to the outer sea? In the communication channel, everyone made a mess. Even Mei Shui couldn't help but frown slightly. Unexpectedly, they had just stepped out of the atmosphere when they encountered an SS-class ship. In their team, only Su Yan's ship is SS rank. But his Hyperion has also been upgraded layer by layer, plus the blessing of eternal energy, before it can reach the SS level. The ship in front of 31 is not just as simple as SS class. It is bigger than the Hyperion. The sense of oppression exuded is also more majestic, making everyone dare not act rashly. What should we do? Shall we take the initiative to say hello? Farewell, what if I disturb the owner of this ship? Then what do we do next? What else can I do? Cold salad, what should I do? I just did some research, this ship has been parked here for a long time. The people above should be active on Topaz Star now. Hearing this sentence, Mei Shui also said cautiously, according to the original plan, wait until the designated location to make the jump. Looking at the huge SS-class ship, Mei Shui also had a secret thought in her heart. If this SS-class ship can serve as her escort, the safety factor of her own fleet may be greatly increased. 2 SS-class ships open the way, I think it is very exciting to imagine. In his fleet, there is already an SS-class ship, the Hyperion. If it is added, it is simply invincible. But Mei Shui also knew very well that it was a miracle that Su Yan's ships could be upgraded to SS-class ships. I don't expect the owner of this SS-class ship to accept my employment invitation. At this time, in the communication channel, Yi Huang was also teasing Su Yan. Brother Su Yan, look at that SS-class ship, it is many times bigger than your Hyperion. they are all SS-class ships, so the gap is a bit big. But this time, Su Yan lowered his head as if he was fiddling with something. Seeing that Su Yan did not reply, Yi Huang secretly thought Su Yan would not be angry. In the communication channel, there was also a moment of silence. Yi Huang coughed dryly, and said awkwardly, "Brother Su Yan, I was just joking, don't take it to heart. Your Hyperion can make multiple space jumps, and it also has a big killer like the Yamato cannon. That SS-class ship is definitely not as flexible as your Hyperion." But at this moment, Su Yan also raised his head with a blank expression. What was Yi Huang saying just now? He is remotely controlling the Spear of Adon, preparing to incorporate it into his guard system. It has to be said that the Spear of Adon is a SS-class ship, and the operation difficulty is not a bit more difficult than that of the Hyperion. Fortunately, his professional skills are excellent, and even a large ship like Adon's Spear can operate it easily. After Su Yan completed the control, the huge ship of Adon's Spear also began to move. When everyone saw the ship flying towards them, their hearts tightened. What's the situation? How did this SS-class ship come towards them? Hey, why did that ship come here? Is he going to loot our cargo ship? What a joke, this is in the outer space of Topaz, which is too arrogant. If I own an SS-class ship, I'll be even crazier than him. That's an SS-class ship. I've never seen an SS-class ship in the open sea. Even if the SS-class ships are placed in the inland sea, they are the existence of top combat power. At this moment, Su Yan, who had not spoken for a while, also spoke lightly. What are you panicking about? This ship is mine. How can you not panic? Those are SS-class ships. Do you know the gold content of SS-class ships? Wait, you said this ship is yours? This time, the entire communication channel fell into a dead silence again. Everyone can't believe that this SS-class ship belongs to Su Yan? Hiss. If true, doesn't Su Yan own 2 SS-class ships? The point is, Su Yan doesn't look like he's joking either. Even Meishua asked uncertainly, Su Yan, are you sure this ship is yours? What's uncertain? I was just remotely controlling the Spear of Adon into my escort formation. Everyone couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. It turned out that Su Yan was silent just now. Was he remotely controlling that SS-class ship? Even so, everyone still couldn't believe it. When Adon's Spear was incorporated into Su Yan's frigate system, everyone could not help but take a deep breath. Is this ship really Su Yan's? At this moment, everyone could not help swallowing a mouthful of saliva. As a result, Su Yan's fleet now has 2 SS-class ships. Thinking of this, everyone looked at Su Yan as if they were looking at a god. What kind of existence is Su Yan, who has 2 SS-class ships, before entering the inland sea? This is too outrageous. In the eyes of the powerful forces in the inland sea, SS-class ships are the existence of top combat power. To own a SS-class ship is enough to run amok in the inland sea. But Su Yan is different, he has 2. Su Yan connected the Hyperion and the Spear of Adon, and the data panel of Spear of Adon appeared next to him. The control panels of these 2 ships add up, and the dense control buttons make Su Yan a little dazzled. But fortunately, if the Hyperion is currently under the command of DG, you only need to manually operate the Spear of Adon. When they saw that Adon's Spear was incorporated into Su Yan's guard system, everyone was relieved. Fortunately, this is a friendly army. If it is an enemy, they really feel a burst of Alexander. And at this time, the happiest person is Meishua. With 2 SS-class ships serving as the bodyguards of her fleet, she really couldn't think of a guy with no long eyes who would dare to rob her cargo ship. After the 7 Stars combined fleet joined the Spear of Adon, the morale also increased greatly. Under Meishua's command, all the ships followed the flagship of the 7-Star Chamber of Commerce towards the entrance of the inner sea. Soon, their fleet also came to the entrance of the inland sea. At this time, Su Yan saw what the so-called space ocean current really was. In front of a black hole, space warps. And this black hole is like breathing. When it inhales, everything around it is swallowed by it. When it exhaled, countless meteorites spewed out like a torrential rain, forming a meteorite belt around it. At this time at 060, the navigator of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce also spoke up. In the Sea of Stars, there are many such space-ocean currents. It's not known exactly how these space currents form, but one thing we can be sure of. That is through these space currents, we can quickly get to places that we can't get to in a short time. And this black hole is equivalent to the entrance of the ocean current in space, and the ocean current in space will change every once in a while. It's like breathing, and when it breathes in, that's when we enter the inland sea. Of course, for people in the inner sea, when they exhale, it is also the time when they return to the outer sea. Every change in space-ocean currents is the result of countless pioneers' exploration. An ocean current often spans millions or even tens of millions of galaxies. Therefore, in the currents, you can see all kinds of strange things. But at this time, you must be careful, because the characteristics of space-ocean currents have also caused many monsters to be born. If you are not careful, it will be the end of the ship crash. At this time, the existence of a navigator who can perceive changes in ocean currents is required. The navigator is also a psionicist, but compared to ordinary psionicists, his perception of space-ocean currents is more acute. An excellent navigator can get hundreds of millions of stars for every voyage. After all, no one wants to have an accident in the ocean currents in space. The number of navigators is also very rare. After all, not only must they become psionicists, but they also need to master the ability to perceive space. There are very few existences that match the two. At this moment, the ocean current in space also changed. Right now, we can go in. For a time, a large number of ships rushed into the black hole. Seeing this scene, everyone in the 7-star combined fleet rushed into the black hole one after another. At this moment, they stepped into the ocean currents in space and set foot on the road to the inland sea. With the distortion of the surrounding space, Su Yan also found himself entering a magical space. The surrounding space is infinitely elongated, like a long river of space. Here, he could see a large number of planets passing behind him like a slideshow. At this moment, they seemed to be suspended in the air, and the surrounding space kept flashing pictures of one galaxy after another. Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. Is this the inside of the ocean current in space? It was really interesting, and now he felt like a shooting star flying through galaxy after galaxy. At this moment, among the communication channels, many crew members also communicated. After all, many of them are also the first time to travel to the inland sea by space-ocean current. Seeing such a magical sight as ocean currents in space is naturally full of curiosity. Is this what's going on inside space currents? It doesn't seem like a big deal, but the surrounding scenery has a different flavor. Ha ha ha, indeed, I feel like I'm watching a slideshow. I just seem to see my mother's star flash by. It's a magical feeling. Even Mei Shui looked at the space that was twisted into a river outside, and felt a miracle. No matter how many times she crossed the space-ocean currents, she couldn't help but sigh at Xinghai's uncanny workmanship. At this time, on the Hyperion, Lin Qingyue and others also came to the bridge. Wow, this is amazing too. Is this the space current leading to the inland sea? It's interesting, the space can be twisted into this shape. As the Baiyi clan, Baiyi was the only one who did not sigh. Because she was born in the inner sea, after the clan was expelled, she landed in the outer sea. For her, it wasn't just her way home. Thinking of this, Baiyi also felt a layer of ripples in his heart. Just when everyone was immersed in the magic of space-ocean currents, the navigator also spoke up in the communication channel. Everyone, we are about to encounter a space wave. Please return the ship's operators to their posts immediately and prepare to switch to manual mode. Space waves are a kind of irregular space motion shocks within space-ocean currents. Once it is not handled properly, it will be thrown out of the ocean currents in the space, or the ship will be twisted into a twist in the space. Hearing these words, everyone suddenly lost the thought of looking at the scenery, and all returned to their posts. As expected, it was 5 minutes after the navigator finished speaking. The entire 7-star combined fleet began to shake violently, and the surrounding space-ocean current seemed to suddenly go crazy and began to twist. Su Yan is also sitting on the bridge, and DG leads the entire fleet to maintain a stable advance. In the waves of space waves, Lin Qingyue and others felt seasickness on the ship for the first time. Rumbling. The entire Hyperion also set off a wave. At this moment, they saw that a cargo ship of the 7-star combined fleet suddenly lost control. Immediately afterwards, the cargo ship directly broke away from the control of the fleet and began to spin continuously like a kite with a broken string. The next second, the space waves hit directly. Snapped. The cargo ship was directly smashed by the space waves, and then the wreckage of the cargo ship twisted like a twist. Seeing this scene, even Su Yan couldn't help but feel a palpitations. Is this the power of space warping? Under the impact of space waves, the cargo ship was continuously compressed and twisted. Eventually, it disappeared into space currents. Perhaps one day, they will be able to see the wreckage of this cargo ship somewhere in the Qinghai Sea. Of course, that's a story later. After seeing the tragic condition of the cargo ship, everyone did not dare to relax at all. Immediately afterwards, the space waves also stopped. Su Yan found that after the waves raged in the space, there was also a large amount of goods around. There are trees, meteorites, and even a frozen corpse of a star-sea creature. All kinds of strange things appear here. Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. In the space-ocean current, there really is everything. At this time, the navigator also opened his mouth to introduce. These things are all things swept up by the waves of space from various galaxies. While most of the stuff is some rubbish, sometimes there's good stuff out there. Look at those ships, they're gold diggers who pick up trash in the ocean currents in space. Most of them don't have a navigator, they just rely on luck and experience. Sure enough, under the guidance of the navigator, they also found that after the waves in the space passed, many ships appeared in their field of vision. Using their ships, they began to scavenge for items in the currents of space. While most of it is rubbish, as long as they find one worthwhile thing, they earn it. After all, space-ocean currents can be entered by anyone. As long as your life is hard enough, you can stay here forever and make a fortune by picking up trash. Looking at those gold diggers, Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. It is really a typical example of wanting money and not dying. If they encounter the next wave in space, if they hadn't escaped, they wouldn't have to be any better than that cargo ship. But at this moment, the gold diggers, who were still scavenging waste, seemed to smell some danger and fled away like frightened fish. Seeing these gold diggers flee in a hurry, Su Yan frowned slightly. What happened? How could these desperados who dared to pan for gold in the ocean currents in space suddenly escaped now? And at this time, something strange also appeared in the ocean currents in the distant space. In the ocean currents in this space, is there any biological existence? At this time, the navigator's expression also changed. Damn it, it looks like we've got the worst of luck this time. First I encountered space waves, and now I encountered space sharks. Space sharks are a group of special creatures that live in space-ocean currents. They live in space currents, and once they step into normal space, they will quickly suffocate and die. This is a creature that intelligently lives in the ocean currents in space. But it is the existence of this kind of creature that makes the danger level of space-ocean currents increase rapidly. They live in distorted space currents all year round, so they know better than anyone how to take advantage of space currents. Moreover, their skin is comparable to alloy, and their teeth can easily shred a ship's armor. They feed on energy, and the stronger the energy aura, the more they can attract them. It seems that our fleet has too much cargo, and the breath of energy contained in it also attracted these monsters. Space sharks are energy-eating creatures, and they should be found by following the energy scent of our cargo. Now we can only fight, and if our cargo is torn to shreds by them, it will be the end. The navigator is also well aware of the ferocity of these space sharks, and immediately reminded everyone. But as everyone knows, in the eyes of these space sharks, the energy radiance emitted by the entire 7-star combined fleet is just average. What really got them excited was Su Yan's Hyperion. The brilliance of the energy was like a scorching sun, almost blinding their eyes. Such terrifying energy aura, they can feel it from a distance. It is so dazzling that it is difficult to ignore them even if they want to. At this time, DG also realized that these space sharks are likely to come for the eternal energy. When she heard the navigator say that powerful energy has a fatal attraction to space sharks, she understood. The only thing present that can make the space shark group so crazy is the eternal energy stone. Moreover, there are 2 such eternal energy stones here. Captain, I think these space sharks are probably coming at us. Those space sharks have biological instincts that can detect energy intensity. I don't think there is a stronger energy product in the cargo ships of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce than our 2 eternal energy stones. After hearing these words, Su Yan also narrowed his eyes slightly. Just right, I took these space sharks to make a knife. After the upgrade of the Hyperion, I haven't fired a shot. You know, the current Hyperion is different from the past. Now the Hyperion is loaded with Void Shield, Eternal Energy Stone, V-shaped Yamato cannon and other weapons. At this moment, the Hyperion is even stronger than the original Hyperion. After all, the original Hyperion does not have a series of big killers such as Eternal Energy, Void Shield and so on. After hearing Su Yan's order, DG also showed a smile. She knew that it was time for her to start killing. Captain, next, these space sharks will be handled by me. DG also took the initiative to invite Ing. Since the upgrade, she has not been active for a long time. Exactly, I want to try it myself. How strong is the upgraded Hyperion? Especially the V-shaped Yamato cannon. This upgraded version of the Yamato cannon, since the moment it is loaded, it can feel its majestic power. Seeing DG's eagerness to try, Su Yan also smiled. In that case, try it, I allow you to use all weapons, including the overloaded state. Su Yan also wanted to see how powerful the Hyperion was after becoming an SS-class ship. At this time, in the communication channel, everyone immediately began to prepare for the attack of space sharks. Fighting in the ocean currents in space, it was the first time everyone bowed. If you are a little careless, it is likely to be directly swept out by the space-ocean current. So everyone didn't dare to act rashly, but the space sharks didn't care about this, they went straight to the fleet. At this moment, Su Yan's voice came out from the communication channel. Next, leave it to me to deal with it, can you handle it alone? Seeing Su Yan taking the initiative to speak, ManhwaRecap also asked worriedly. Although the number of space sharks on the opposite side is not very large. But the skin of these space sharks is comparable to alloy, and the bite force can easily tear apart the alloy shell of the ship. Not only that, these space sharks will hide in them with the help of space currents. Unless it's aggressively attacking, it's hard for their attack to reach these space sharks. In the face of everyone's worries, Su Yan also said lightly, if my Hyperion can't solve these space shark groups, it is estimated that you can't solve it either. Speaking of this, everyone realized that Su Yan's ship was an SS-class ship. In their 7-star combined fleet, no one has a higher ship class than Su Yan. Yup. What are they worried about? Su Yan's Hyperion is an SS-class ship, and its combat power is the top of all their ships. If even Su Yan's Hyperion can't deal with these space shark swarms, who else can they deal with these monsters? Thinking of this, everyone did not speak anymore. If you talk about it again, it would be disrespectful to Su Yan. Everyone also understood, and quickly gave way to Su Yan's Hyperion. At this time, among the ocean currents in space, the most taboo is large-scale battles. Large-scale battles will disrupt the stability of space-ocean currents, and if one is not careful, they will be swept away by space-ocean currents. However, if it's just a single hull ship, you don't have to worry so much. Afterwards, Su Yan also looked at DG next to him. Then, it will be handed over to you. 35. Don't worry, it's just a bunch of beasts. Let them see 060 and get to know the power of my V-shaped Yamato cannon. DG opened her hands and showed an excited smile. Next, it was time for her to show her strength. Whoosh! The next second, under the watchful eyes of the public, the Hyperion disappeared directly in place. This scene suddenly made the navigator's eyes widen. WTF? Is this guy crazy? He actually chose to jump in the ocean currents in space? You must know that the space warp is very strict for the conditions of the surrounding environment. Even a little bit of trouble could affect the success of the space jump. For space, the navigator has always maintained awe. However, in the extremely chaotic place of space-ocean currents, Su-Yen actually chose to jump directly? Jumping in the ocean currents in space is tantamount to dancing ballet on a steel wire. Unless they have almost invincible confidence in their own jumping device, normal people would not dare to do this. Whoosh! The next second, the Hyperion also appeared in the center of the space shark group. Seeing this scene, the pilot was stunned. This guy actually made the jump? He thought that in the next second, he would be carried by the ocean currents in the endless space to an unknown location. But he actually folded successfully. However, seeing the jumping point of the Hyperion, the navigator could not help but twitch the corners of his mouth. Jumping directly to the center of the space shark group is unknown. Isn't this courting death? If he hadn't been clear about the characteristics of space-ocean currents, he even thought that Su-Yan's Hyperion had failed to jump, and it quit the jump state halfway, so it landed in the center of the space shark group. Numerous space sharks see, DBCG, the Hyperion landed in front of them, which is tantamount to falling pie in the sky. For a time, many space sharks also smelled the energy and attacked Su-Yan's Hyperion. Thousands of space sharks, at this moment, can't stand the restlessness of biological instinct. The pilot couldn't help covering his eyes. Besieged by thousands of space sharks, even if he is an SS-class ship, he will be wiped out within a minute. What the hell is he doing? Jumping in the space-ocean current, the jumping place happens to be the center of the space shark group. It's finished, he's absolutely finished. The bite force of those space sharks is comparable to armor-piercing missiles, he can't stop it. Speaking of which, the navigator was also depressed for a while. Didn't he say that the captain of the longing fleet was a heroic boy? How could he have made such a low and fatal mistake? At this moment, Mei Xuan next to him said very indifferently, "Don't talk, Su-Yen is not an idiot, he must have his reasons for doing this." As soon as these words came out, the entire communication channel fell silent. Anyone with a discerning eye can see it, this is completely a move to die. But due to Mei Xuan's sense of oppression, everyone did not dare to show it. I saw that those space sharks had already approached Su-Yan's Hyperion. Su-Yan, who was sitting in the middle of the bridge, didn't even look flustered, because he believed in DG. As the ship's mother of the Hyperion, she knows that the hurt and pain in the battle will return to her body. Therefore, in order to avoid battle damage, she always chose the most efficient and fastest way. Space sharks swarmed, like moths fighting a fire. The eternal energy on the Hyperion is like a beacon in their eyes, extremely dazzling. The biological instincts in the body are also driving them towards the Hyperion incessantly. Brush. At this moment, the first space shark rose into the air and attacked the Hyperion like a sharp arrow. But at this time, DG directly activated the Hyperion's transition function again. Whoosh! The Hyperion disappeared again, and many space sharks rose into the air, but only the afterimage of the Hyperion was captured. For a time, many space sharks all gathered together, and they looked around. Why did the duck to the mouth suddenly disappear? The navigator of the 7-star combined fleet almost spat out a mouthful of blood when he saw Su-Yan's Hyperion make another leap. Their navigators maintain a godlike awe for the ocean currents in space. But this guy, Su-Yen, doesn't play cards according to the formula at all. In the environment of space-ocean current, he didn't even have the slightest sense of awe, but instead played space jump. My dear, this is tantamount to hitting the god of space in the face. The next second, under the shocked gaze of the navigator, Su-Yan's Hyperion reappeared. But this time, he faced those space sharks. Seeing this scene, the navigator couldn't help but speak. If I remember correctly, the last time he jumped was a minute ago. Multiple jumps? Or in space currents? His engine is probably not the black technology leap engine handed down from ancient times. 35, but this time, no one answered him. Because everyone knows that the most powerful part of the Hyperion is its almost abnormal transition function. It can make multiple transitions, and it can also ensure the accuracy of the transition location. Such a powerful jump function, they have never heard of it. This ship is simply the top assassin of all ships. Boom! At this moment, a dazzling beam of light directly attracted everyone's attention. At this moment, everyone looked towards the Hyperion in front of him. In the bridge of the Hyperion, Su-Yan looked at the dazzling Yamato cannon, which was as powerful as a sun. At this moment, even Su-Yan was a little surprised. How powerful is the V-shaped Yamato cannon? Brush! I saw a beam of V-shaped Yamato cannon attacked those space sharks directly. In an instant, those space sharks shrouded in the beams evaporated and disappeared. Seeing this scene, even Mei Shui and the others couldn't help but gasp. Those are space sharks that can live in space-ocean currents. Under the impact of Yamato cannons, there are actually no corpses left behind? A V-shaped Yamato cannon bombed, and the space shark group was directly reduced by half, and the rest were injured and killed by the Yamato cannon. Such a terrifying Yamato cannon, Su-Yan couldn't help rubbing his chin. Sure enough, the system produced must be a high-quality product. The power of this V-shaped Yamato cannon is almost as powerful as that of a small star destroyer. Thinking of this, Su-Yan couldn't help but look at DG beside him. I saw DG's eyes full of excitement. This feeling of destroying everything is really cool. Now, DG feels that if she turns on the overload mode, coupled with the terrifying power of the V-shaped Yamato cannon, it is enough to bomb a planet into scorched earth. At this time, Su-Yan also said aloud, DG, those space shark groups have been completely eliminated. Hearing this sentence, DG also recovered. She looked at her hands, and she couldn't help but feel scared for a while. This feeling of mastering power is just too easy to get out of control. DG took a deep breath and calmed down the excitement in her heart. Sorry, Captain, I lost my way. It's okay, I understand how you felt when you just opened fire. As the ship's mother of the Hyperion, DG can appreciate the growing power of the Hyperion better than him. After calming down, Su-Yan also drove the Hyperion back to the fleet again. At this moment, everyone in the fleet looked at the returning Hyperion, and no longer had any doubts in their hearts. Is this the power of SS-class ships? For a time, even the navigator who questioned Su-Yan at the time did not dare to have the slightest opinion. The fleet was like this, and there were no other exceptions along the way. In this way, they spent 3 days in the space-ocean current. 3 days later, the 7-star combined fleet also rushed out of the space-ocean currents and officially came to the inner sea. Looking at the endless prosperity galaxy in front of him, Su-Yan couldn't help but sigh. Is this the inland sea? Although it seems that there is no difference between the surface and the outer sea. However, in the inner sea, a large number of planets have a long history, and many treasures are also hidden in them. In the outer seas, extremely rare paradise planets are also found in the inner seas. Many people came to the inland sea with dreams. Even Su-Yan was no exception. Is this the inner sea? It doesn't look any different from the outer sea. Looking at the galaxy with various ships coming and going, Lin Qingyue also pouted. This is completely different from the inland sea, she imagined. Ling Bing next to her looked at the inner sea in front of her and didn't speak, but the expression on her face already showed her disappointment. Seeing this, Su-Yan also said lightly, we have just reached the edge of the Sea of Calm, so you are so anxious? The peculiarity of the inland sea is not the scenery, but the opportunities it contains. 39. In the outer seas, you may not be able to encounter such things as psionic seeds in your entire life. 5. However, in the inner sea, psionic energy seeds are not a rare item. In the inner sea, psionicists can be found everywhere. However, although the inland sea is known as a world full of gold and treasures, the world is flying in the sky. Although there are more opportunities, the risks are also rising exponentially. Even the interstellar pirates who have been in the inner sea for a period of time, both in terms of vision and strength, are much stronger than those little guys in the outer sea. As long as they can make a name for themselves in the inner sea, they are basically no small roles. The biggest difference between the inner sea and the outer sea is the number of opportunities. Soon, they also followed the Seven Stars Chamber of Commerce to the Yuanwu Galaxy in the Sea of Tranquility. The Yuanwu Galaxy is not far from the entrance of the space-ocean current, and it can be reached by crossing 2 or 3 galaxies. This location is the perfect location for those merchants who want to come and trade, and Mei Xue also bought the Yuanwu Galaxy, a planet called Lingon Star, after a lot of hard work. The combined fleet of the Seven Stars Chamber of Commerce also entered the atmosphere of Lingon Star. A large number of cargo ships landed on the ground one after another, and stevedores unloaded many cargoes one after another. Soon, a huge open space was cleared around. A large amount of goods were piled up on the ground, and then, thousands of tall buildings rose to the ground. Mei Xue stood in a barren open space, and did not give many workers a chance to breathe. In inland seas, dragging for a minute represents a sliver of risk. In order to take down this planet, Mei Xue spent a lot of effort to win this unique position. At this time, Lin Qingyue and others also walked off the Hyperion. When Lin Qingyue stood on the surface of Lingon Star, she couldn't help but frown slightly. Seeing this, Su Yan couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong? Is there any problem?" Along the way, Su Yan also led Sylvia Lin through many planets. But still, it was the first time I saw Lin Qingyue showing such an expression. Lin Qingyue glanced at the distance, and then looked at Mei Xue not far away. "I'm just a little strange, how can such a good place get the Seven-Star Chamber of Commerce?" Hearing this sentence, Su Yan also knocked on her head. "Is this location bad?" 9. The closest space current is only 2 galaxies away. It's not easy to find such a suitable planet for a chapter in the Sea of Calm. And Lin Qingyue also raised her face, her beautiful eyes staring at Su Yan. "You also said that it is not easy to find such a suitable planet in the Sea of Tranquility. As far as I know, the Seven Stars Chamber of Commerce decided on a branch plan 10 years ago. Before this, the Seven Star Chamber of Commerce did not enter the inner sea with much fanfare. The planetary resources of the Sea of Tranquility have been divided up so much, how come there is a Lingon Star here?" 99. From the moment he set foot on this planet, Lin Qingyue felt that something was wrong. Because the environment in front of this planet is really good. Plants are diverse, and even a variety of docile animals exist. The oxygen content in the atmosphere is also in a very appropriate balance. Such a planet, if not artificially mined. Before long, a whole new civilization will be born. To put it bluntly, the environment of this planet is almost infinitely close to the Paradise Planet. But it is such a Paradise Planet with excellent environment, which has not been divided up by the Chamber of Commerce organization in the Inland Sea, and it has fallen into the hands of the Seven Star Chamber of Commerce. This seems to be the luck of the Seven Star Chamber of Commerce too. After listening to Lin Qingyue's analysis, Su Yan also discovered that Lin Qingyue, who was usually silly, had a keen perception beyond ordinary people at this time. "In that case, do you want to ask the president of the Seven Star Chamber of Commerce?" At this moment, Mei Xue, who was not far away, also heard Su Yan talking about her voice. Driven by curiosity, she also came over. "What's wrong?" For Su Yan, Mei Xue is naturally very grateful. Without Su Yan, she might not have been able to arrive here unharmed. So, Su Yan also told her what Lin Qingyue said just now. "I bought this planet from an inland merchant. It's strange to say that this inland sea merchant only received 10 billion star coins from us at that time. I thought Lingon Star was a barren dead star, but now it seems that this planet may be really problematic." When Mei Xue was formulating the expansion plan of the Seven Stars Chamber of Commerce, she also felt a lot of difficulties. As long as a businessman from the inner sea found her and sold the land deed of Lingon Star to her. However, Mei Xue only felt that she had picked up a big bargain. No matter what the situation on this planet is, just being in the Yuanwu Galaxy is enough to attract Mei Xue. Afterwards, Mei Xue was also ignited by Ling Hanxing's fighting spirit, hence, the plan for future expansion of the club. Now, after seeing the spirit cold star, Mei Shui realized that this spirit-cold star is not as big as the first entry she imagined. Originally thought it was a barren death star, but who knew it was a planet close to a paradise environment. This inevitably caused Mei Shui to be a little worried about the existence of the planet under their feet. The inland sea merchant did not hesitate to sell the planet at a low price, and was unwilling to continue to develop it. However, now the arrow has to be fired. Whatever problem the planet has, I have to get over it. Now the cargo has been unloaded. For this branch expansion plan, Mei Shui is desperate. If they retreat now, they will face a huge loan from the Libra Empire. Now Mei Shui can only keep moving forward. No matter what is wrong with this planet, nothing can stop the establishment of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce. Mei Shui was sure that as long as she gave herself 5 years, she would be able to transform this planet into a second topaz star. And he will establish a brand new 7-star Chamber of Commerce here. In the remaining 5 years, the two 7-star Chambers of Commerce will work together, enough to pay off all the loans. Provided, of course, that her chapter can thrive. Such preconditions are very rare in the inland sea. However, since Mei Shui kept insisting, Su Yan couldn't say anything more. Ding, check-in location detected, Lingon star. Do you want to sign in? At this time, the sign-in system also sounded in Su Yan's mind. Su Yan was also a little overjoyed. He didn't expect the sign-in system to be triggered so quickly on this planet. Sign up, ding, the sign-in is successful. Congratulations on getting 100 sets of Terminator armor, unyielding Terminator armor blueprint, solar ray blueprint, sun fragment. Good guy. When Su Yan saw the sign-in reward, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. There are 4 items in total. Is it so exciting as soon as you enter the inland sea? The sign-in reward directly gave me 4 items. The first is the Terminator armor, which is one of the powerful killers of the Imperial Space Marines. After donning this Terminator armor, Space Marines will transform into humanoid chariots on the battlefield. The terrifying defense and powerful firepower system make the Terminator armor one of the most important weapons for space warriors. However, it is a pity that this time the system only rewarded him with 100 sets of Terminator armor. But to Su Yan's relief, he also got a blueprint for the Terminator's armor. With the blueprints in hand, he can let the mechanical priests build Terminator armor. With the blessing of the arsenal inside the Spear of Adon, and the space warriors of the Salamander chapter, it can be said that as long as the star coins are in place, mass production of Terminator armor is not delusional. As long as Su Yan thinks about it, when the time comes, all members can be equipped with Terminator armor. What a terrifying existence. Then, it was one of the technologies of Adon's spear, the solar ray gun. There is also a sun fragment as a gift, although the sun fragment is inferior to the eternal energy. But it is also an extremely rare high-efficiency energy source, and it is an indispensable part for launching a solar ray gun. Therefore, Su Yan also handed the blueprint of the unyielding Terminator armor and the blueprint of the solar ray gun to the mechanical priests. Next, it is up to the mechanical priests to upgrade the Spear of Adon. It's a pity that there is no design blueprint for the purification beam, and Su Yan has been greedy for this annihilating weapon for a long time. But Su Yan also knew very well that he couldn't eat hot tofu in a hurry. At this moment, there was a loud noise from the construction site in the distance. Whoosh! Suddenly, a beam of energy landed on an open space not far from Su Yan. When Su Yan saw this, her eyes narrowed slightly, and it seemed that what she was most worried about had happened. It is not easy for the 7-star Chamber of Commerce to establish a branch on this planet. Su Yan gave Ling Bing a wink. Ling Bing also understood immediately, and then boarded the Hyperion. And here, Su Yan also took buying straight to the construction site. Sure enough, cheap is not good. The price of this planet is so cheap, and now there are problems and losses. Before starting to build a branch, if you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. This punch was so powerful that even the surrounding weeds collapsed because of this punch. On the other side, the main force of many mushroom people is transporting the goods of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce to the underground world. These mushroom people have been living in the underground world since birth. Over time, they have evolved the ability to be good at digging. Many mushroom people dug various tunnels under the ground, and they used these tunnels to transport goods and troops. But just when many mushroom people were excitedly delivering their goods, boom! There was a sudden loud noise, and then, something like a cannonball flew directly from a distance. The many mushroom people who were delivering the goods were also startled. However, when they saw this thing clearly, they were scared to death. Because in front of them, it is the head of the leader of the mushroom people. Before many mushroom people could react from the shock, huge footsteps resounded like a talisman. Boom! 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 Several space marines in Terminator armor also appeared. When Mei Shui saw these Terminator armors, her eyes widened. What kind of equipment is this? How did she never see Su Yan show? But then, after many mushroom people reacted to 2.6, they quickly aimed their guns at these Terminator armors. There are only a few people on the opposite side, and we outnumber them. Open fire. No matter how thick their armor is, they can't resist the attack of so many artillery fire from us. As soon as these words came out, many mushroom people also reacted. For a time, a large number of energy bullets fell on the Terminator armor. Almost instantly, the energy bullets directly drowned several Terminator armors. Seeing this scene, Mei Shui couldn't help but gasp in air, secretly screaming in her heart. The number of mushrooms on the opposite side is too large. Even if you have new armor, you can't resist it. However, when a volley ended, the Terminator's armor once again showed its shape. This scene not only made Mei Shui feel extremely surprised, but even the mushroom people on the opposite side seemed to have seen a ghost. Good guy. Their round of focus fires down, and the Terminator armor doesn't even have extra scratches. For a time, the mushroom people even thought that something was wrong with the energy weapons in their hands. And at this time, the space warrior in the Terminator armor also raised the storm bolter in his hand. Next, it's their turn to attack. Do what? As the principal, Mei Shui also rushed to the scene of the incident immediately. When she saw several injured workers fell to the ground in pain, her face suddenly became ugly. At this time, she also set her sights on the star sea creatures holding energy weapons on the opposite side. I saw that these Shanghai creatures had the appearance of mushrooms, but they were holding powerful enough energy weapons in their hands. According to the surrounding workers, these mushroom people appeared here shortly after their construction. When they came up, they plundered the supplies of the Seven Stars Chamber of Commerce. These workers were knocked to the ground just by resisting a few words. When Mei Shui saw the appearance of those mushroom people, her heart tightened. Because the inner sea merchant back then looked exactly like the mushroom people in front of him. From the moment she saw them, Mei Shui immediately realized that she had been deceived by these mushroom people. The number of these mushroom people is around thousands, and they are also equipped with a large number of energy weapons. In terms of the firepower of the weapons, these mushroom people are much stronger than the guards of the Seven Stars Chamber of Commerce. President, these mushroom people should be indigenous people living on this planet. I just saw them all coming out of the ground. 060. Now maybe there are still many mushroom troops in the underground, or we should temporarily avoid the edge. At this time, a member of the Chamber of Commerce also suggested to Mei Shui. If it is just a large number of indigenous people, they are not afraid at all, but these natives have extremely powerful energy weapons. This can't help but make many members of the escort team of the Chamber of Commerce feel a burst of pressure. You know, the weapons in their hands are still basic kinetic weapons. But these indigenous people are not only large in number, but also have a higher level of equipment than them. How to fight this? At this time, Mei Shui understood no matter how stupid she was. All this is a trap set by these mushroom people, indigenous people. They have powerful energy weapons, so they set a trap to let others land on this planet. After that, they plunder the target by force. Damn it! You are so insidious and cunning. Hearing this sentence, the mushroom man on the opposite side also showed an extremely wretched smile. Then, the mushroom man came to Mei Shui. insidious and cunning? It's called strategy. Besides, this planet was originally the land where our geocentric people lived from generation to generation. In theory, you are the intruders, so it is reasonable for us to fight back. After all, the Mushroom Man also showed a very flat expression. Immediately afterwards, another Mushroom Man came over. He glanced at the members of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce around him. Then, he also waved his hand. Take these guys back and throw them into the mines to be our coolies. Then get in touch with those black market merchants and have them recover these ships. After hearing these words, Manhwa also showed a trace of resentment in her eyes. It seems that these mushroom people have used this method to harm many interstellar voyagers. After looting the goods, not even the population and ships are spared. However, Manhwa's face did not show the slightest panic, because she knew that Su Yan had not left Lingon Star yet. As long as Su Yan is around, there is still hope for them. This sign should be the cargo ship called the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce in Weihai. Unexpectedly, the big fish of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce finally fell into our hands. Suck, with so many goods, I can get rich again at that time. Their cargo ships are all very high-end, and those guys from the black market will definitely pay high prices. At this time, these mushroom people have already begun to prepare how to divide the 7-star Chamber of Commerce. Just then, one of the mushroom people suddenly shouted, "Brothers, look here." What? Make a fuss, as if you've never seen the world. There's an SS-class ship here. What? SS-class ships? As soon as these words came out, it was like 1,000 layers of ripples splashed from a boulder. For a time, all the mushroom people were attracted. SS-class ships, this is a rare thing in the entire inland sea. The leader of the Mushroom Man came over, and when he saw the Hyperion in front of him, his eyes almost fell out. Is it really a genuine SS-class ship? After seeing this SS-class ship, the leader of the Mushroom Man couldn't believe his eyes. Great, I didn't expect this 7-star Chamber of Commerce to be so fat. There are even SS-class ships, and our geocentric family is about to rise. With this SS-class ship, they can form a fleet and go to other areas to plunder. How can you take the initiative to stand by and wait for the rabbit to make money faster? Thinking of this, the leader of the mushroom people also feels that the future is bright. But at this moment, the Hyperion in front of him also made a sound. What sound? There are still people in this ship. Hearing the sound, the leader of the mushroom people also became vigilant. I saw that he picked up the energy gun in his hand and aimed at the Hyperion in front of him. Puff! With a roar, the door of the Hyperion opened slowly. When he saw a figure appearing at the hatch, the leader of the Mushroom Man roared loudly as if his tail had been stepped on. Fire! For a time, a large number of energy bullets bombarded the figure in front of him like a torrential rain. However, as the hatch slowly opened, several burly space marines from the Salamander chapter stood at the hatch in Terminator armor. The dense swarm of energy bullets landed on the Terminator armor. After a salvo, the Terminator's armor didn't even show any scratches. Seeing this scene, those mushroom people suddenly felt that something was wrong. Sure enough, when their attack was over, the Space Marines in Terminator armor raised their storm bolters. Boom! 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 The storm bolter showed powerful firepower, and countless storm bolts fell among the mushroom people. With the sound of a violent explosion, the Mushroom Man who was hit by the front immediately turned into countless fragments. Even those mushroom people who were affected by Yue were either killed or injured. In just one round of shooting, the Mushroom Man squad on the opposite side was almost wiped out. The leader of the Mushroom Man looked at the several Terminator armors in front of him, and his face suddenly turned pale. The next second, he fell directly to the ground. And several space warriors wearing Terminator armor also slowly approached him. Don't come here, you monsters. The leader of the Mushroom Man was directly destroyed by these powerful space warriors in front of him. Just a face-to-face, the mushroom team under his command has been wiped out. This made the mushroom people who have been smooth sailing on weekdays finally understand what real power is. Boom. 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 Accompanied by the dull footsteps, the space warrior wearing the Terminator armor also came to the front of the Mushroom Man leader. He raised his arm, and the power glove began to charge. When the leader of the Mushroom Man saw that the power glove began to charge, he seemed to see his own destiny. In the next second, the leader of the Mushroom Man crawled and got up. But no matter how fast he is, how can he be faster than the punch speed of the Terminator armor? Boom. With a muffled sound, the Space Marine in the Terminator armor threw a punch with lightning speed. Boom. With an explosion, a storm bomb fell directly into the main force of the Mushroom people. In an instant, the Mushroom Man who caught the storm bomb in front of him immediately turned into pieces. The aftermath of the storm bomb blasted, and the expressions of the surrounding mushroom people also changed greatly. But the attack was far from over, and many Space Marines wearing Terminator armor, holding storm bombs, slowly approached the main force of the mushroom people. Boom. 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 The dull footsteps, coupled with the explosion of storm bombs. For a time, many mushroom people knew what it means to crush the power. Their proud energy weapons, in the face of the powerful defensive power of the Terminator armor, can't play any role at all. The Terminator armor walked step by step to the main force of the mushroom people. Just then, the sound of the storm bolter stopped. Many mushroom people looked at the Terminator armor opposite, and saw many Space Marines wearing Terminator armor put away the storm bolter. Seeing this scene, many mushroom people are also happy. They're out of ammo. Good chance. When those mushroom people heard this sentence, they were also overjoyed. The opponent is out of ammo. Since then, if they have an advantage in numbers, even if they consume it, they will be killed. Thinking of this, several mushroom people also drilled into the ground. Other mushroom people followed suit. Their innate racial ability was to punch holes. Next, just make a hole in the ground and take advantage of the terrain to trap the Terminator on the opposite side. When the Terminator can't move, they can capture these Terminator armors. 31. That's right. After seeing the powerful strength of these Terminator armors, these mushroom people's first thought was to seize the Terminator armor. In the Hyperion, Su Yan also used drones to observe everything on the battlefield. When these mushroom people saw that the Terminator was extinguished, their first reaction was to fight back and seize the Terminator armor. Su Yan laughed. He is laughing at the greed of these mushroom people. At the same time, it is also laughing at the ignorance of these mushroom people. The Terminators put away their storm bolters, not because they ran out of ammo, but because, at such a distance, melee weapons are the most suitable killing tools. I saw the Space Warriors in Terminator armor, pulling out a thunder hammer from behind. The next second, one of the Terminators stepped forward. The endless energy turns into electricity and injects it into the thunder hammer. Under all eyes, the thunder hammer burst out with a series of sparks. Boom! The hammer of thunder slammed onto the ground, and the violent force directly smashed through the ground to the ground. Only a muffled sound was heard, and the ground shook violently. Immediately afterwards, those underground mushroom people stopped moving. But at this time, as long as the creatures with normal brains are very clear, those mushroom people in the ground are finished. The Terminator held the thunder hammer, and then rushed straight into the main force of the mushroom people. Boom! Another hammer slammed onto the ground. In an instant, the surrounding ground cracked open, and the surrounding mushroom people were directly shaken up. Before they could react, a powerful thunder had already wrapped around them. Sizzle! For a time, the center of the battlefield burst into flames. Mei Shui next to him looked at the Terminator holding the thunder hammer, constantly crushing the Mushroom Men soldiers among the main force of the Mushroom Men. Obviously there are only a dozen Terminators, but they can act recklessly in the main force of the thousands of mushroom people. But at this moment, a flash of lightning flashed. One of the Terminators was directly put on the lightning claw. After the equipment was completed, the lightning claw also burst out with a series of sparks. The next second, the Terminator rushed directly into the main force of the mushroom people. As long as it is a mushroom man close to his attack range, it will be split in half by lightning claws in an instant. After several Terminators changed to melee weapons, their destructive power increased instead of decreasing. Many mushroom people were frightened and fled away. Damn. These guys are horrible, we can't beat these monsters. At this time, the mushroom man also understood. To these Terminators, they are nothing more than bigger ants. From the very beginning, they did not take mushroom people in their eyes. Mushroom people without energy weapons are nothing more than a group of indigenous people who can only dig holes. The mushroom people's troops are also retreating, and many mushroom people can't care about the goods of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce at this time. As long as you can survive, you don't care what cargo. A large number of mushroom people also rushed towards the entrance of the underground passage. As long as they jump into the underground passage, no matter how powerful those Terminators are, they cannot use their fists in the narrow underground passage. The underground is the home of their mushroom people. But just when a mushroom man was about to jump into the underground passage, boom! With the sound of gunfire, a bomb directly penetrated the body of the mushroom man. The mushroom man fell directly in front of the entrance of the underground passage, and his eyes were full of wonder. Numerous space marines from the Salamander chapter appeared near the entrance to the underpass. From the very beginning, Su Yan discovered that these mushroom men came from the underground to the surface to attack the 7-star Chamber of Commerce through this underground passage. Therefore, after learning of the existence of the entrance to the underground passage, he also dispatched many space marines from the Salamander chapter to guard the entrance. Because he knew very well that after these mushroom people were defeated, they would definitely try their best to return to the underground world. But how could Su Yan give them a chance to return these mushroom people to the underground world? In order to return to the underground world, many mushroom people also came to the vicinity of the underground passage. At that time, when they came to the vicinity of the underground passage, their faces turned pale. At this moment, in the vicinity of the underground passage, in addition to the fully armed space marines of the Salamander chapter, the Thunder Sky gangs holding electromagnetic revolving machine guns have also been waiting for a long time. Da-da-da. For a time, the continuous sound of gunfire entered Mei Shue's ears. Then came the screams of the mushroom man. Just here, Mei Shue could feel that a tragic massacre was unfolding not far away. At this time, a lurker also appeared behind Mei Shue. He skillfully took out a dagger, and then cut off the rope on Mei Shue's body. After releasing the shackles of Mei Shue, the lurker slowly disappeared into the air like a ghost. After Mei Shue untied the bundle, she also looked around. After the lurker disappeared, not even a trace of footsteps was exposed. This could not help but make Mei Shue feel in awe of Su Yan's troops again. At this time, Su Yan also felt that the battle was almost over. So, he also walked out of the Hyperion. When he came to the vicinity of the underground passage, he saw mushroom man corpses all over the ground. Under the siege of thousands of mushroom troops, Terminator space warriors, and Thunder Tian gang, the entire army was also wiped out. Looking at the mushroom man corpses on the ground, Su Yan picked up an energy gun in the hands of a mushroom man. Su Yan played with it and frowned slightly. Something was wrong. The energy guns in the hands of these mushroom people were not researched by them at all. You must know that each Xinghai race will take its own biological structure into consideration when researching weapons suitable for its own race. If some weapons are handed over to other Xinghai races, it is very likely that even shooting will be a problem. The structure of the firearm in front of him obviously does not match the biological structure of the mushroom man. In other words, these energy firearms are all firearms seized by the mushroom people. It's not a standard firearm developed by their own clan. Thinking of this, Su Yan is also rubbing his chin. Thousands of standard weapons. Have these mushroom people looted the arsenal of which race? Otherwise, where did so many standard firearms come from? At this time, Mei Shue also came over. Thank you 060, Su Yan, you saved my life again. Mei Shue's gratitude to Su Yan cannot be expressed in words. Fortunately, after completing the escort mission this time, Su Yan did not rush to leave in order to sign into this planet. Otherwise, with the escort of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce alone, it would be really difficult to fight against these mushroom troops. Manhwa did not expect that these mushroom people aborigines were not only numerous, but also possessed advanced energy weapons. This weapon is even more advanced than those equipped by their escort. At this time, Su Yan also showed Manhwa the mushroom man's weapon. These weapons are weapons captured by the mushroom people of other races. Their civilization has evolved to the Iron Age at most. You can see that they are wearing the lowest level of iron armor. It's just a native who waited for a high-end toy. How dare he act as an interstellar pirate? Speaking of which, Su Yan also gave some of these energy weapons to the mechanical priest for research. The rest was handed over to Manhwa, and then Su Yan also came to the underground passage. Looking at the underground passage in front of him, Su Yan also waved his hand. Several space warriors also entered the passage first, and then, the Iron Pilot entered the passage. It is necessary to remove the roots when cutting the grass. These mushroom people may also have higher level killing weapons in their hands. I will help you clear the main force of these mushroom people, and leave the rest to you to solve. 5. Speaking of which, Manhwa quickly agreed to Su Yan. She has already sent a dispatch notice to the main association of the 7-star Chamber of Commerce, and reinforcements should arrive soon. After this accident, Manhwa did not dare to take it lightly. In the inner sea, these mushroom people, who have only evolved to the Iron Age, can possess such high-level energy weapons. What other accident is impossible? Thinking of this, Manhwa did not dare to take it lightly again. At this time, Su Yan also received a response from the most advanced explorers. Reporting to the captain, we have found a large number of man-made passages underground. The passages are about 10 meters in diameter, and they appear to have been built for a long time. And these passages have formed an underground transportation network, and we have not yet found the entrance to the underground. Among the underground passages, many lurkers are also looking at the passage in front of them. When they came to a crossroads, they also frowned slightly. It is not known that this is the first crossroads they have encountered. The headed lurker directly pressed the pulse detection button. The electromagnetic pulse is centered on him and spreads out around him. Then, the screen on the wrist also shows the channel status. On the map they have explored so far, it can be clearly seen that a large number of passages are intertwined into a dense underground transportation network. Su Yan looked at the map in front of her and frowned slightly. After all, it is a race that lives underground. This underground passage is definitely not something that can be created overnight. Faced with such a situation, Su Yan could only dispatch more manpower. Fortunately, this situation did not last long. Thousands of mushroom people poured out of the underground passage, and there must be some clues left. Following these clues, the lurkers kept tracking. Finally, one of the lurkers came to an iron gate. The lurker also looked at the traces on the ground, and the mushroom man ran out from here at that time. Moreover, the lurkers also found a lot of fresh soil on the surrounding ground. In other words, this iron door has only recently been opened. Behind the door should be the base camp of those mushroom people. At this time, other lurkers also sent good news one after another. Report. We found an iron gate behind, which is likely the mushroom man's base camp. 39. We also found a secret passage here, which has been locked. 35. A hidden passage was discovered here, and the clues we followed were broken here. 35. We also found a lot of traces of mushroom people's activities here, and we are looking for hidden entrances. Listening to good news from one lurker after another, Su Yan also touched her chin and frowned. These mushroom people are really smart. Thousands of troops are gathered from different exits. In this way, they can hide their traces as much as possible. The activity traces of thousands of people are completely different from the activity traces of dozens of people. These mushroom people first appeared from different entrances, and then took advantage of the complexity of the underground passages to hide their traces as much as possible. Finally, all the mushroom people converged and emerged from the same passage. This method can hide the traces of the main force of the mushroom people as much as possible and prevent the enemy from tracking. But unfortunately, what they encountered was Su Yan's army of lurkers. Even if thousands of people are dispersed as a single army, the lurkers can accurately grasp their whereabouts. This method may be quite effective for ordinary trackers. But for the lurkers, it's no different from making an axe. This time, they not only revealed their whereabouts, but even the exits were discovered by lurkers one by one. The Mushroom Man has suffered heavy losses. The first team of lurkers, responsible for blasting the entrance. Salamander and Terminator, you are responsible for meeting with the first lurker team and preparing to enter the mushroom camp. The pilots are responsible for guarding the other entrances and preventing the mushroom men from escaping. The escort army listened to my command and immediately entered the underground passage, ready to support other troops. 5. The size of the Mushroom Man's underground kingdom is far bigger than he imagined. It's just an entrance, it's so complicated. Su Yan's eyes narrowed slightly, but he wanted to see what kind of existence gave Mushroom Man such courage. Boom! With that, Su Yan gave an order. The first team of lurkers directly blasted the iron gate in front of them with explosives. When the iron gate was blown open, a large number of bullets and the smoke poured down like a torrential rain. The mushroom people behind the door seemed to have been waiting for a long time. When the iron gate was blown open, the Mushroom Man began to attack like a violent storm. But the lurkers had long expected this situation, and several Terminators held storm shields, blocking them like a city wall. The bullets landed on the storm shield one after another, and the Terminator behind the storm shield stood like a mountain. The smoke and dust dissipated, and the scene behind the door also appeared in everyone's field of vision. Several mushroom people have already formed a simple position. A large number of heavy machine guns have been aimed at many Terminators, but in the face of the strong defensive power of the Terminators, their firepower is obviously not enough to look at. Su Yan also frowned slightly through the picture transmitted back by the Terminator. These mushroom people actually knew their arrival in advance, and arranged their defense lines. How did they know? If it weren't for the Terminator armor's almost perverted defensive power, any troops would not be much better if they were swept away by heavy machine guns in such a defenseless situation. Terminator, press on. Salamanders follow, lurkers take cover with charged rifles. Under the command of Su Yan, the Terminator was like a humanoid chariot, directly pressing on the Mushroom Man's position. And the mushroom people saw that the bullets of the heavy machine guns had no effect on these Terminator armors, and their faces changed. Damn it! Sure enough, it looks like the ground troops have been wiped out. Otherwise, these monsters wouldn't come here. With such a perverted monster, it is estimated that the ground troops will be difficult to resist. 95. Retreat. Quickly report to the general, an enemy has invaded. Many mushroom people also scattered and fled. But the Space Marines of the Salamander chapter would not give them a chance to escape. Now that he has chosen to fight, he must face the wrath of the Space Marines. For a time, the bolt gun released a lot of flames. The mushroom people fell down one by one like they were harvesting wheat. Even if a mushroom man escaped the hail of bullets, the next second, before they could react, a laser beam directly penetrated their bodies. The lurkers, armed with rechargeable rifles, took down the lone mushroom people one by one. For a while, the screams of the mushroom people came from the entire underground space. But the Space Marines have no mercy, because this is war, and the kindness to the enemy in the war is cruel to oneself. Under the command of Su Yan, many Space Marines also advanced layer by layer. At this time, a lurker also felt that there was a faint line of sight around him. The lurker also frowned slightly. After entering the underground passage, he can often feel the existence of this line of sight. But even with his pulse-detecting equipment, he couldn't find any clues. This made the lurker frown slightly. Could it be that he was too sensitive? At this moment, the lurker also keenly discovered something. In the grass next to it, something seemed to be moving. Seeing this, the lurker also quietly approached the grass. In the underground passage, he could see this wheat growing on the ground at any time. For this kind of terrain, it was a very normal thing. But when the lurker got close to the grass, he found a strange creature with eyeballs spying on the Terminators. At this time, the eyeball creature senses that the lurker is approaching. The next second, before the lurker reached out and grabbed it, whoosh! It indents directly into the ground with lightning speed. After seeing this eyeball creature, the lurker also immediately understood. No wonder they were known to the Mushroom Man before they broke the door, and it turned out that this creature existed. It was because of the existence of this creature that the Mushroom people learned of their actions. Therefore, the lurker also immediately reported the creature to Su Yan. Something like an eyeball? The lurker also sent Su Yan a photo of the creature, and Su Yan frowned slightly when he looked at the photo in front of him. Through this photo, Su Yan could only vaguely see a strange plant with eyeballs in the grass. But because of the sudden incident, the lurker also failed to photograph the detailed appearance of the creature. Su Yan touched her chin and secretly said in her heart, "There are quite a few tricks of these mushroom people, and such a surveillance system has never been seen before." With the attitude of trying the kings, Su Yan also sent this photo to Lin Qingyue. The only well-informed guy on his ship should be Lin Qingyue. If even Lin Qingyue can't recognize what this thing is, it is estimated that it is difficult for other people to recognize what this thing is. At this time, Lin Qingyue also came to the plant cultivation room of the Hyperion. In the cultivation room at the moment, Elf Radel is taking good care of these plants, and she treats these plants as if she were treating her own children. "Miss Lin, thank you very much, this is the only thing I can do." 35. After this period of treatment, Ladel also got out of the psychological shadow. Now she acts like an elegant royal princess. And the lively and cheerful Lin Qingyue also quickly got along with Rydell. At this time, Lin Qingyue also received a message from Su Yan. "Qingyue, help me find out what kind of creature this is." After all, Su Yan also sent the picture of the eyeball creature just now. Seeing this picture, Lin Qingyue was also speechless for a while. "Which creature are you talking about? With so many weeds, how do I know which?" At this moment, a slender jade hand landed directly on the eyeball creature. The creature, he said, should be this eyegrass. "Eyegrass, do you know this thing?" Hearing Laydel's identification, Lin Qingyue also noticed the strange thing in the picture. However, she didn't know anything about it either. After entering the inland sea, Lin Qingyue also felt that the knowledge she possessed was becoming more and more scarce. "If it goes on like this, I won't be able to keep up with Su Yan's footsteps in the future." Thinking of this, Lin Qingyue was also afraid for a while. But at this time, Laydel's words also rescued her from her fantasy. This eyegrass is one of the plant technologies of the forest spirit family. The forest spirits are a race that is good at using various plant technologies, and the plants they cultivate often have various powerful functions. This kind of eyegrass can transmit the images seen by the daughter to the mother. And the eyeball grass has a very strong concealment ability, and once it is discovered, it will quickly burrow into the ground. They usually hide in the thick grass to monitor the enemy. After listening to Laydel's introduction, Lin Qingyue's eyes also flashed with a hint of surprise. Plant technology? There is actually such a magical race that can turn plants into weapons for him to drive. But then, Lin Qingyue also hurriedly asked, "So what to do with these eyeballs?" At this time, Lin Qingyue was like a student thirsting for knowledge, and looked at Rydell very eagerly. Rydell looked at Lin Qingyue's eyes, and also showed a smile. Afterwards, Lydell also patiently took out a picture book. This illustrated book is the information that comes with her technical watch, and she has organized these materials into one illustrated book after another. Originally thought to give Lin Qingyue decisive time as a reward for taking care of her. Now, she also took out this illustrated book in advance. 060. Although the plant technology of this eye grass was developed by the Forest Spirit clan, all races are also using it. After all, the biggest disadvantage of this plant technology is that it is easy to clone as long as you master the cultivation method. 5. Our elves cracked this technology thousands of years ago, and modified and upgraded it. According to the description given to you by Mr. Su Yan, these eyegrasses are still the most primitive kind. Saying that, Laidel also opened the illustrated book. The above is the introduction of eyeball grass, the representative black technology used by Sunling. Eyegrass has excellent anti-reconnaissance ability and stealth ability. However, its shortcomings are also obvious. First of all, it is still plant life. That is what the plant is afraid of, it is also afraid of. Moreover, the cultivation cost of this thing is extremely high, and the survival rate is only 50%. Of course, the elves have also improved it since then, greatly improving the survival rate of the eyeball grass. But the eyegrass they encountered now is still the most primitive generation. That said, treat these eyegrass like weeds. Speaking of this, Lin Qingyue also suddenly realized. So, she also immediately told Su Yan how to hand Laidel over to her. Thank you, Rydell. I still have a lot of information about the inner sea here, you can take it back and read it carefully. After all, Radel also took out many illustrated books. Seeing these carefully crafted illustrated books, Lin Qingyue also understood. It turned out that these illustrated books, Laidel had already prepared them. This could not help but make Lin Qingyue feel a little warm. Ding! Su Yan also received news from Lin Qingyue, and when he saw the origin of these eyeball grasses, his eyes narrowed slightly. The black technology of the Sunling family? Thinking of this, Su Yan also remembered that the Sunling family can be regarded as a relatively powerful race in the inner sea. In comparison, the plant black technology of the Sunling family is a unique existence in the entire Shanghai. Could it be that behind these mushroom people are the forest spirits? It seems that the energy guns in the hands of the mushroom people are the products of the forest spirit family. However, if they were standing behind the forest spirit clan, why didn't the forest spirit clan grant them higher tech armor? Now the mushroom man is like a primitive man with a musket, possesses great strength, but does not have the strength to match. Su Yan also let the Terminators move on, if the forest spirits were standing behind them. They made such a commotion, presumably Sunling wouldn't sit idly by. In the underground world, the lurker received the order and resolutely aimed the rechargeable rifle in his hand at the surrounding grass. The rechargeable rifle fired at once, turning all the surrounding haystacks into ashes. The laser ignited a fire, and the flame also burned quickly. You know, there are quite a few plants here, and when the flames burn, a chain reaction starts directly. In a short time, the entire underground space was burned by flames. The troops such as lurkers and terminators are not afraid of high-temperature equipment at all, and the flames only affect their vision. None of the troops under Su Yan was afraid of the high-temperature environment, but those mushroom people were miserable. They didn't expect that the troops under Su Yan were so ruthless. Direct fire to the underground passage. Thick smoke billowed and quickly filled the entire underground passage. Those mushroom people looked at the raging fire, and their expressions changed. It's on fire. Everyone, run. They don't have the equipment of Terminators and Space Marines, which can withstand the attack of fire. The flames attacked them, and many mushroom people were scared and fled in all directions. The Terminator and the Salamander warriors also followed these mushroom men, directly chasing them. Not long after, they saw the underground space in front of them suddenly open up. A huge underground space also appeared in their field of vision. In this huge underground space, the DBCG houses are like a lot of houses are located in this huge underground space like a chessboard. It looks like this is their base camp. Yes, look at both sides, those mushroom guards have been surrounded. What's next? What else can we do? The captain has given us only one task: destroy all enemies. 35. As soon as the voice fell, a Terminator also ran directly towards the mushroom guards. The storm shield in his hand was removed, and the Terminator was directly replaced with a heavy flamethrower. Call. In an instant, a large amount of flame spewed out. Accompanied by a series of screams, these mushroom guards turned into ashes and dissipated in the air, directly under the burning of the heavy flamethrower. After hearing the movement here, the Mushroom King hurriedly walked out of the palace. When he saw the figure of the Terminator at the entrance, his face was also pale. How is that possible? They're calling in. General, what did you do? How did you let the enemy get in here? At this time, a mushroom man in heavy armor also came over. When he saw those Terminators, his teeth itched with anger. What exactly are these monsters? He has clearly sent a large number of guards to the entrance to ambush them. But these guys didn't just easily destroy the guards at the entrance. He even burned all the eye grass at the entrance. Those eyeball grasses were the treasures that they spent a lot of effort in researching, and they were burned away like that. But at this time, General Mushroom Man was not at all nervous. In the direction of your majesty, we still have guards equipped with sacred armor. Speaking of which, the Mushroom King seemed to think of something. That's right, they also have sacred armor. No matter how strong those guys in heavy armor are, they will never be able to resist the attack of holy armor. And here, the Mushroom Guards also came to the Terminator. The Terminator stopped what he was doing when he saw the Mushroom Guards in front of him. Because they detected that there are extremely powerful energy fluctuations in these Mushroom Guards. Bomb? Or some other secret weapon? Under the gaze of the Terminator, one of the Mushroom Man guards also sneered, "You should have come in, now it's too late even if you regret it." After all, the Mushroom Guards also took out a green ball. In an instant, a black liquid also seeped out from the green ball. Not long after, these black liquids also directly covered the body of the Mushroom Guards, and actually formed a pair of black armor on the body of the Mushroom Guards. When the Mushroom Guards raised their hands, the black liquid also turned into a giant axe. Brush. The next second, the Mushroom Guards wearing black armor also raised the black axe and slashed towards the Terminator. When the Terminator saw this, he also raised his hand and raised the storm shield to resist. When, accompanied by a crisp and pleasant sound, the Mushroom Guards only felt their arms go numb. The next second, his black axe was bounced off by the storm shield. And the Terminator also felt a huge sense of force coming from the storm shield. What a powerful force. This black armor actually gives the Mushroom Man such a powerful strength boost? And Su Yan also saw the transformation process on the opposite side through the camera on the Terminator armor. After seeing the pool of black liquid, Su Yan also flashed a hint of surprise in his eyes. Mushroom people still have such a treasure in their hands? This is somewhat similar to the alien creatures in the movies he had seen before. Liquid armor, Su Yan is also the first to see this technology. However, Su Yan glanced at the black armor on the opposite side, and also had a secret thought in his heart. Judging from the current performance, the power increase of these black armors should be terrifying. If it were an ordinary person, the blow just now should have been thrown into the air by the storm shield, but the Mushroom Guards didn't seem to be surprised. It's interesting. It seems that these mushroom people have gained a lot of benefits from Sun Ling. At this time, even Su Yan became interested in this black armor. Qingyue, help me investigate, what is the origin of this black armor? If this is also the technology of the Forest Spirit Clan, you can help me check the specific function of this thing. This black armor is really interesting. If it is mass-produced, I can easily arm a group of strengthened soldiers. 39. Seeing Su Yan's news, Lin Qingyue, who was checking the illustrated book, also turned over and sat up directly. When he saw the video Su Yan sent her, his mind was also racing. This thing she just saw in the picture book. Black Star Nano-Level Armor, a nano-level liquid armor. But this Black Star Nano-Level Armor was not developed by the Forest Spirit Clan, but by a craftsman of the Space Dwarf Clan called Black Star. This craftsman has created many famous equipment, among which the Black Star Nano-Level Battle Armor is one of his masterpieces. The Black Star Nano Armor is usually stored in a special storage ball. When the user activates it, it covers the entire body in an extremely rapid manner. The method is similar to the Panther armor used by Su Yan before. However, compared to the Black Panther armor, the materials of the Black Star Nano-Level Armor are more sophisticated. At present, there are very few races of the Black Star nano-level armor. Unexpectedly, these mushroom people actually got the Black Star nano-armor. Lin Qingyue also quickly investigated the information about the Black Star nano-armor, and when she checked it, she couldn't help but frown slightly. Because the Black Star war armor has no weaknesses. Once worn, the armor cannot fall off automatically unless the user dies. This is too outrageous. No weakness. If you insist, the strength of the user is the weakness of the Black Star battle armor. Because the Black Star nano warframe is a warframe, but all it does is weaken the damage to a certain extent. That is to say, if your attack strength exceeds the tolerance range of the Black Star nano armor, then the user will still be hit by the opponent's attack. Su Yan also received Lin Qingyue's investigation results. Black Star nano armor? Interesting. 99. Thank you for your hard work, Qingyue. Next, I should know how to deal with these mushroom guards. Seeing Su Yan's message to herself, Lin Qingyue also warmed her heart. Afterwards, she also immediately picked up the picture book that Ladell had given her earlier. I must supplement all kinds of knowledge about the inland sea as soon as possible, otherwise, I will not be able to help Su Yan at that time. She doesn't want to be a vase. You must know that among all the crew members on the ship, Bai Ying is naturally unavailable as Su Yan's bodyguard. As the first mate, Ling Bing also needs to command the ships, and when necessary, he also helps Su Yan manage the ships and the like. And Xiaoyu, not to mention, she is a boatman. Only I can't do anything to help myself, and I am a dispensable existence on the boat. But the appearance of Ladell also rekindled her fighting spirit. As long as you have enough knowledge, can you become Su Yan's leader in the inland sea? After all, the inner sea is an extremely unfamiliar place for everyone today. Most of the knowledge in the outer seas is not easy to come here. Therefore, it is also very important to supplement your knowledge in time. On the other side, Su Yan looked at Lin Qingyue's message to herself, and her eyes were a little surprised. Before clearly, Lin Qingyue still looked like a curious baby about inner sea. Today, she can still act as her encyclopedia as if she were in the open sea. This didn't make Su Yan look at this silly little rich woman in a different way. She didn't expect that she also knew some knowledge of inner sea. Attention to all space marines and terminators, don't reserve any more power, you need to defeat these mushroom guards as soon as possible. The lurker takes the high point and switches to the Kriebel sniper rifle. Terminators and space marines have changed to melee weapons. I demand a quick fight. The order was issued, and Su Yan's order also appeared inside the Terminator, who was fighting against a mushroom man guard. The space fighters inside the Terminator armor also raised the corners of their mouths slightly after seeing this order. Looks like our game is over. What? I haven't waited for the mushroom guard to react. The Terminator hit a shield directly, knocking the mushroom guards away. Then, the Terminator put on the Thunder Hammer. The Thunder Hammer burst out with a series of lightning bolts. After seeing the Thunder Hammer, the Mushroom Man guard also frowned. Because he found that the breath of the Terminator at the moment was directly raised by a level. What exactly happened? These Terminators seem to have changed a person. Boom! In the next second, the Terminator charged directly, and with a single strike of the Thunder Hammer, it smashed directly at the Mushroom Man guards. The Mushroom Man's guards also changed his face when he saw the Terminator's menacing approach. Under the conditioned reflex, the Mushroom guards also quickly used the Black Star nano armor to condense a black shield. Boom! Accompanied by a dull crashing sound, a powerful current directly penetrated the entire body of the Mushroom guards. With a heavy blow, the entire Black Star nano armor began to tremble. The violent impact, mixed with the power of thunder, rushed directly into the body of the Mushroom guards. Almost instantly, the Mushroom guard felt that his internal organs were directly shattered. Puff! A mouthful of blood mixed with internal organs spurted out. Immediately afterwards, the Mushroom Man guards also knelt directly on the ground. The Black Star nano armor also automatically peeled off from him. Seeing that the Black Star nano armor was peeled off, the Terminator also picked up the Black Star nano armor. Su Yan also specially instructed them that this Black Star nano armor must be recycled. Recycle some of these Black Star nanowar armor, maybe you can give it to the mechanical priest to study, and then copy it out. At this time, the other Terminators also dealt with all those mushroom guards. Afterwards, they also followed Su Yan's instructions to recover all these Black Star nanowar armors. At this time, General Mushroom Man was stunned when he saw that all the guards under his command had been killed in seconds. Just now those Terminators were still passively defending. How did they become so fierce after changing to melee weapons? The Terminators also looked at General Mushroom Man when they passively defended but did not receive Su Yan's order. After receiving the order, the Terminators were also unceremonious and directly destroyed the Mushroom People's guards with the momentum of destroying the dead. For flowers, even if they were equipped with a Black Star nano armor, the physical fitness of those Mushroom Man guards was only a Mushroom Man after all. But the Space Warriors far surpassed the Mushroom People in terms of equipment and physical fitness. What did these Mushroom People do against them? When the Mushroom King saw that the situation was over, his expression changed. "General, what should we do next? What else can we do?" With a thud, General Mushroom Man knelt down directly, without a trace of sloppy action. Afterwards, General Mushroom Man also quickly shouted, "I surrender, don't slap in the face." Surrender? Su Yan also chuckled when he saw the surrendered Mushroom King and Mushroom General. Sure enough, these indigenous people are just some indigenous people after all. Seeing that the situation was over, he resolutely surrendered. Now those Mushroom People are curled up in the corner one by one. Where is the high-spirited attitude back then? Afterwards, many Terminators controlled all the Mushroom People almost effortlessly. At this time, Su Yan also came to the kingdom of the underground Mushroom People. 0, looking at the shackled Mushroom King and Mushroom General, Su Yan also asked straight to the point. "Next, the question I want to ask, you'd better answer honestly. If there is a slow answer, I will shoot you all with one shot." As soon as these words came out, the Mushroom King and the Mushroom General nodded frantically like chickens pecking at rice. Seeing the two Mushroom People being so honest, Su Yan also asked the first question. "Where did you get your gear from?" As soon as he finished speaking, the General Mushroom Man next to him responded as quickly as possible. "There is a secret room under the palace, in which there are many ships of the Mori clan. 35. Our equipment is obtained from the ships of the Forest Spirit clan. We have opened 3 ships so far, and many ships have not been opened. Please don't kill me, I'll say anything." When the Mushroom King heard these words, he almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. "You old sixth, you have finished speaking, what should I say? How did you go blind in the first place, and find such a bony head to be a general?" After Su Yan heard General Mushroom Man's words, he nodded with satisfaction. Then, with a big wave of his hand, several lurkers quickly entered the palace to investigate. Not long after, the lurker also sent a message. "Report to the captain, we found a ruin under the palace. This ruin should be the ruins built by the forest spirits. There are 20 fire ships and 10 cargo ships in this ruin, all of which are A-class. 30 ships?" After hearing this number, Su Yan also flashed a hint of joy in his eyes. No wonder these Mushroom People are so bold. It turned out that they mastered the ships of these forest spirits. However, next, these ships are all his. However, what Su Yan didn't expect was that these Mushroom People have already mastered the technology of interstellar navigation, and they still can't break the defense of these forest spirit ships? According to them, at present they have only cracked 3 cargo ships. The rest of them are powerless. Over the years, they have also accumulated a lot of wealth by cheating. But even so, they still can't eat these forest spirit ships. Loss. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.